Hello Aries, Elsie here to do a reading for you, my friends. It is for the week ahead. What week is that? I don't know when you're here. Are you here a year from now? A month from now? It's going to be for whatever is coming up in your week ahead, friend. If you have a placement in Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter, Aries, you're part of my fire family. I have more fire than Earth. I'm an Earth sun, but I got a lot of fire. So if that's you, there could be something here for you. We're going to do a 9-card draw. Please remember it's a general reading. Nothing I say here has to happen. If it's something that resonates, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let's find out what's going on for Aries in this 9-card draw for the week ahead. We've got the 2 of Pentacles. Looks like you're trying to come to a balanced decision about something that is in your 3D. It does feel like you're about to make some sort of a money decision. But I think that the decision you're about to make that could be regarding something that could be finances, time, effort, energy, your career. It feels like you see some sort of obstacle in the distance. Feels like you're looking ahead, and that might be why the 2 of Pentacles is here. I feel like you're unsure as to whether you're going to be able to adapt to the side quest, because I feel like it feels like there is an obstacle in the distance that you can see regarding whatever this is. It could be property management. It could be anything really that's in your 3D. It feels like you see an obstacle, and that's why you haven't made the solid decision yet. It feels like you're just trying to make the most balanced decision possible, but it could mean that you're making a big decision that involves a lot of people. So we've got the 3 of Pentacles here. It could be that you're in partnership. Maybe you've got a business, but it feels like you're going to have to go around some sort of an obstacle. You're going to have to find another way around to your achievement. Let's take a look. I feel like it's I feel like you've got to be flexible in your thinking, Aries, and I don't know if that's you. I'm just saying the King of Swords is here with the King of Pentacles. I think you're used to what you say goes. You're the one that usually makes the decisions about whatever the Pentacle energy is about. Property, time, effort, energy, building a business, selling a business. It feels like you're the one who has the last word. So I feel like you're leading a group. Maybe you do have a business and you're leading a group. Or possibly this is something that needs to be fair to everybody in the group. Doesn't have to be a group thing, but I am looking at 3 Pentacles here, and I am looking here. It feels like you're going to have to be flexible, but I don't know if you want to be, because we've got the King of Pentacles and the King of Swords here. These are the 2 of the most stubborn kings, right? One is like, no, bring me more evidence, more information, or I'm not changing my mind. We're going to do it the way I said we're going to do it, and that's my final word. And this one here is like looking at the obstacle in the distance going, crap, I might have to be flexible. I might have to go around this obstacle. Financially, I might have to find a way energetically to get around this obstacle. Tell me more. We've got the Page of Cups. I think there is some good news coming that is going to help you make your decision. I feel as though like this person's standing on a rock, there's water in the background, and it feels as though I'm going to say that water doesn't sit behind the obstacle and wait for the obstacle to move before it moves forward. It goes around, it adapts, right? It bends, it turns, it goes around and it adapts. I feel like there is some, like this feels like a solution, like something you hadn't thought of, or something that maybe someone had said, hey, how about this? And you maybe dismissed it and said, no, I don't think so. It feels like something is going to probably pop up. Either you haven't thought about it before or you dismissed it. Yeah, it's going to help you make your decision. This is something that's coming back around, and it feels like somebody may have mentioned something in passing, maybe someone who doesn't have as much knowledge or wisdom as you in terms of, because the kings all have, they've mastered their domains, right? This one is the one that's thinking, honest, truthful, very, I'm going to say very surgical in the way I make decisions. These are practical, surgical decisions. These are not things that I'm going to get my feelings involved in, but somebody I feel who probably works from their feelings or is very balanced in their feelings or their emotions, I would say. This somebody could be someone who is junior to you, could be a child, could be someone who is younger than you. It feels like that person possibly came up with something, or this person could pop up and say, hey, what about this? Did you think about this way? Judgment card is here. I think that this has come up before, but I think you may have dismissed it because this person doesn't have business knowledge, doesn't have a doctorate, doesn't have a master's, doesn't have a bachelor in business. Like, I feel like this is somebody that you may have dismissed because they were younger, could have been a child, but I feel like something here is coming back around, and I think that the decision you're about to make is surprisingly probably based on something that was already said to you, or something that possibly came up and you dismissed it and said, no, that's just not going to be possible. We've got the Ace of Swords. Yeah, it does feel like there's information, communication, like an epiphany or a realization. It's like remembering. It's like, oh, wait a second. Somebody here told me last week, week before, last year, whatever. It feels like you're remembering a conversation. With the Judgment card here, it feels like it's coming back round. It's reminding you that the water will always adapt to the obstacle. We'll always find a way around it. Won't scream at it to move. We'll always find a way to adapt, to get around the mountain, to get around the rocks and the stones and whatever else is in the water, right? We've got the Queen of Pentacles. It may have been somebody who is a Queen of Pentacles, but this person could be younger than you. It does feel like this person really does know what they're talking about, because the King of Pentacles is very fixed, right? That's, in this general reading, of course, it represents Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, all of the earth signs, but this is Taurian energy. It feels like somebody here is like going to stand there and scream at that mountain and say, get out of the way. I told you I'm coming through here. Get out of the way. Get out of my way. But the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn, and that energy is not fixed. It is affixed, I would say. It is an earth energy affixed to the ground, but not fixed. Able to adapt, right? Able to adapt. I feel like whatever is coming up, I feel like you'll make the right decision. I feel like the decision that was suggested to you that you might have pushed away and said, no, that'll never work. I feel like that's the answer. One more card. We've got the Page of Wands. And it does feel like it is something that you will have to risk. I'm going to say, though, it feels like you've been back and forth on something for a while, and you've been waiting for an epiphany or something to show up or to understand something. It feels like there's a block. You can see in the distance there's a bit of a block. And although you can see it and you're really good at anticipating what to do in situations like this, I feel like somebody that is that you wouldn't normally give credence to, you wouldn't normally listen to their words of wisdom. I would say my son raised me. I didn't necessarily raise my son. He's been my teacher. And it almost feels like that. It feels like somebody who you may dismiss because they don't necessarily have a level of education, like in a certificate. But this is somebody who I feel is either a psychic soul, a very deep soul, somebody who thinks intuitively, makes their decisions, used to making their decisions intuitively. Also, if they are a water sign, especially a Pisces, they're a person who recognizes patterns. And so that's how they make their decisions, based on patterns. So I'm going to put down 2 cards here. We're going to see what's under the surface that you don't yet see, and then we're going to clarify a little bit. We have the 3 of Swords, and we have the 10 of Swords. I feel like it does feel like there is something going on here that maybe you don't. It feels like a respect level. I'm just going to say it feels like an adult saying to a child, "Don't tell me what to do. You don't know what you're talking about." It feels like somebody who's dismissed someone else, or it's somebody who may have said it in a moment of argumentative conversation. There may be a fundamental difference between you and this person. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 wands. 5 swords. It feels like there may be a fundamental difference. Maybe you don't trust this person. It feels like there is something here that just doesn't pan out for you. I think that somebody here is equating age with wisdom. Not necessarily synonymous. I'm just telling you. I'm at a certain age, and I know people around my age, and I'm telling you, wisdom is not synonymous with age. In some cases, it's just not. Let's talk about the King of Pentacles. Why do you not want to move? Even though you see that the obstacle is here, why is it that you don't want to move? Because I'll regret it. Okay. We've got the 4 of Cups, because this is my comfort zone. I don't usually move aside. I don't get flexible. I'm not the person who says, okay, fine, I'll renege what I said and I'll go around. That's not you. I feel like you're a person who is usually rejecting other people's ideas, and I don't think you do it because of ego. Please know what I'm saying here. The King of Pentacles is somebody who knows it because of knowledge, data, analytics. The King of Pentacles is somebody who is willing to change their mind, but you're going to have to bring a hell of a lot of data for them to be able to say, oh, okay, well, maybe you were right then. So I feel like somebody here is in their comfort zone. It does feel like the reason I am not changing my mind or not making a plan to go around the obstacle rather than go through it is because this person feels fixed, stuck. I don't do things that people tell me to do. I do the things that I want to do. And then we have the sun. So something here is going to be revealed. And I think what is going to be revealed to you, Aries, is that sometimes you can be a little hard-headed, like the ram, right? That you would rather try and put your head down and ram right through it than actually say, well, maybe that idea I had is going to take us longer, right? Because King Pentacles is Earth energy. It feels like you might come to a realization or something's going to be revealed to you. And I feel like it's, it feels like I don't think you feel bad about having to change your mind about this, but I think you're going to change how you feel about something because new information is going to be presented to you. I'm just looking at the King of Swords pointed over at the sun, which tells me you're going to realize something in the mind. You're going to have some sort of an epiphany that possibly the direction you're going in might not be the best direction. I could be talking about your business. I could be talking about your career. I could be talking about you getting ready to make the biggest purchase of your life and somebody saying, wait, maybe there's another one that looks like it that might be less, or it might be a year older, or something like that. It feels like you have your mind dead set on doing what you want to do. But I feel like something is going to be revealed to you, and I feel like it's probably going to shed light on whatever idea you have here that you're not necessarily willing to change. And I think it's because of this Page of Cups. Tell me about the Page of Cups. We've got the Ace of Cups. Somebody is revealing something to you that looks like it's really worth something. It feels like, but the thing is, I feel like you're going to have to be vulnerable. And that the vulnerability part of it is when I see the truth of something, then I must be vulnerable enough to be able to change my mind, change my path, change the way. And I feel like there is somebody here who isn't used to doing that your ideas always work. Or you just put your head down, you ram all the way through it. So the Ace of Cups is here, the Page of Cups is here, and it does feel like this, it's quite surprising, but also I feel like that the reason that you've been neglectful to change is because you're going to have to be vulnerable and say, yeah, maybe I was wrong this time. Maybe the idea that you have, even though you don't have my master's in business science or whatever it is, I don't know. It feels like somebody is like, but I have more education than you. I know more than you. I have more of the back end stuff in my head. I don't know why you're making these off the cuff sort of. I think this person is because I feel like they are somebody who is quite intuitive. I feel like they just know business. You know, there's people who just know. And I feel like this is somebody who has a knowing. I feel like this person comes with good news. I'm just saying, I don't think it's something bad. I don't think it's anything bad because the Ace of Cups is here. The Page of Swords is here. This person is trying to get you to look at it again. And I feel like the reason that you don't want to observe it, look at it, dig through it, is because you're going to have to be vulnerable and say, okay, well, maybe I need to change my mind. So I feel like this is good news. There is good news here. There is a solution. You can get flexible. The water is here, right? The water's always going to go around the rocks, always going to go around the mountain. And I feel like there is another way around whatever problem you're trying to solve, but I feel like it might be a fixed energy problem that you're used to. Leo, Taurus, Aquarian energy. This is very fixed energy. It's like, don't screw with what's in my head. I know what's right. I've checked it 1,000 times. So I feel like doesn't really have anything to do with you being too stubborn to go around an obstacle. I think it has to do with you having to be vulnerable enough, open your heart energy, be flexible emotionally, and really, after you get the data, Page of Swords, become the student rather than the teacher. I think you're almost a little bit offended that somebody who doesn't have your level of education, or who isn't as old as you, or who hasn't been in the business long enough, or whatever decision you're trying to make here, it's almost a little bit offensive that this person would show up and say, well, maybe this is something you hadn't realized or hadn't looked at yet. So I feel like this Ten of Wands here tells me that you carry some sort of a mental burden of having to change your mind, be flexible, which is going to in turn make you feel a little bit vulnerable. Like people will say, yeah, I told you, Aries. I told you so. I don't think you want to hear I told you so. Tell me what the Ace of Swords is, because it feels like there is some sort of an epiphany coming up that is going to remove some sort of block. It is a very heavy decision, I'm going to say. It feels like it's a very important decision. It involves a lot of money, property, something like that, health possibly. But it does feel like it is a block that you're, a mental block that you're in here. You don't see any other possible way. Tell me why the Ace of Swords is here. Somebody's coming in to deliver a message. That's why I'm saying that. We've got a couple of pages, 3 of them actually, and then we have the Ace of Swords. I feel like there's somebody here worth talking to that will help you around this. It feels like some sort of financial block. It feels like somebody's like, there's just no way that we're going to make the numbers this month. Or there's just no way I'm going to get that job. Or there's, it feels like with the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, somebody is like, this doesn't have any longevity anymore. It almost looks like somebody is looking at the dollars and cents or looking at the spreadsheet and they're looking for reasons to end it rather than reasons to continue it. And so it feels like a financial impact, something's not going right, I'm going to lose money on this. It feels like there's some sort of an epiphany coming. It feels like it could be, we could be talking about a house. We could be talking about some sort of financial stability. Somebody is worried that I'm not making as much money, possibly than I was making last year. Maybe I'm making less money. We've got the Four of Swords. Yep, it's going to take some clarity, but I feel as though you're fighting with yourself or arguing with someone else. It feels like you don't think that their idea is going to work, but I feel it's because of a difference of opinion or a fundamental difference. It feels like you have to change your mind and you don't really want to do that. The decision is here. It's yours. This is going to keep coming back. This problem, this issue, this thing that's draining your money, draining your energy, draining your health, your life vibrancy here, because the Ten of Pentacles is in the reverse, draining your abundance, draining your possibility to hope for the future, maybe that you want to buy a house or get more stable financially. Whatever it is that you won't change is causing, it's like the boat has holes and you're like, no, why would we plug the holes? We'll just roll a little bit harder and get to shore. It feels like your idea of how it should work out is different from the idea of somebody who's younger, who's less experienced, who just showed up and said, oh, well, there's your problem. You got a hole in the boat. Yeah. Tell me about the Ten of Cups. We've got the Hermit. We've got the Knight of Wands. I feel like you're going to catch it at the very last second. I feel like you're going to change your mind at the last second. I feel like you're going to catch it at the last second. I feel like with this Hermit energy here, it really, whatever is going on here, it causes you to go within. It causes you to go inward, check on your data. Like the Virgo energy here doesn't miss a thing. It's like, what have I missed? So somebody's going inward to check with themselves spiritually, check with themselves emotionally, check with themselves, why can't I change my mind? I see that we could be hitting this obstacle in the distance, but I feel like powerless to stop it. Feels like the boat is taking on water, and I don't think that the way that we're plugging the holes is going to be enough, or we should just paddle harder. It feels like the Hermit in the reverse, the Hermit in the upright here is saying, check the details. I check in with myself. Do I have enough? Am I enough? It feels like somebody here is trying to get a better realization. The Ten of Cups is here. I feel like if you search the self long enough, you will find the right answer. The Knight of Wands is here. I do really think that you find the happiest medium at the very last second. The Knight shows up here with solutions, I feel, because the Ten of Cups is here, and so is the Hermit. The Five of Swords is here. I think you realize that you are the person who is sort of fighting a new path. We've got the Ace of Wands here, and it feels like you're like, I don't want to start over. I don't want to do it again. It feels like it could be exciting. It feels like somebody comes up with a plan. There's two wands here, and it's because they do have wisdom, and you realize it doesn't matter how much education. This could be somebody who is quite intuitive in business. This is someone who inspires others to keep going or to find the solution or look within. It feels like there is somebody here who is going to help you notice by putting the sun on it. we've got Leo here, right? It feels like it could be a think tank, or you could get a bunch of people in a room, and I feel like somebody in that room comes up with your solution. Look, this doesn't have to be a work thing. Take it as it resonates for you, but it does feel like there's a new person showing up in your life who's going to cause you to dig deep into your emotions and be very vulnerable. I think they're here to teach you something, because students are students, yes, but once they have knowledge, they can pass it on. Children can teach adults a lot of things if the adults are willing to listen. It feels like this person comes with a solution to this thing that has been weighing heavy on you. Look, we're going to go into the extended. If you want to be there with us, then please look at the pinned comment that is at the top of the comments. You will find that the membership link is there. That's where we go for the extendeds. We will clarify all of this and try and get an outcome for you, find out what the judgment card is, what the decision-making process looks like. If you're interested in a private read, please know I do pre-recorded reads. I do live reads as well. Live reads are always on sale. You can click the link to Hypsee, check my prices, my packaging, and my schedule if you want to sign up for a live read. But right now, for the pre-recorded reads, only until the midnight on the 12th. That's the day of the eclipse in Leo, the new moon eclipse. So I am offering a 10 minutes or less, $25, one question, no long backstories. I'm probably just going to read your question and a few lines of whatever it is that you write. Your sun, moon, and rising, if you want to give that to me, you can. And I will have that back to you in 48 hours. I'm going to go right now into the extended. And if you want to be there, you know how to get there. And if you don't, that's cool, because I'll be back. And if you're back, then we'll both be back at the same spot and we'll do this again. All right, take care of yourselves. I'm going to go. Be well. Thank you. Bye-bye.